Hey, how you doing, man? We're here with Gillander Guitars.
How's it going?
It's going good. We're all remote. We'll see how this turns out. We're the best of the week, guys. So, out of Walpole, Mass, right?
Yep. Yeah, Walpole.
We got the guy here who builds guitars himself. You see his ads on Craigslist. He's got some stuff everywhere. You take it from here, man. Tell us about you.
Okay. I probably should start with how I got kind of into building guitars, and it kind of goes back to, like everybody else, I started playing guitars when I was a teenager, and I didn't really get too serious about it until I went to college. I studied classical guitar up at the Crane School of Music in northern New York. I'm from upstate New York originally, and started playing a lot of classical guitar. And then about probably 10 years ago, 12 years ago, my wife and I started doing these violin and guitar sort of early jazz, western swing duets. So I started getting into playing
Awesome.
archtops. And, I couldn't convince my wife that I should be going out and spending $10,000-$20,000 on a brand, or like an old vintage L5.
Not easy, man. Not easy.
I was trying to figure out a way. How can I get another guitar, without really getting a divorce? We were driving in the car one day, and I said, I'd really like another guitar, and the old ones are just way too expensive, so I think I might try and build one. And I was shocked when she said, yeah, okay. So I started piecing together some tools, and I started piecing together some wood, and I carved the first archtop, the top for the guitar. Read the Benedetto book, and I started to realize I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I need to kind of step back a little bit and figure out what's going on here. So I started reading all the other books that are out there and watching all the other videos and talking to other guitar makers here and there, and I decided, you know what, maybe I should dive into some flat top guitars. I've got a really nice classical guitar. I don't need another one of those. So maybe I'll try and build something Martin-esque. So I got plans for a Dreadnought. Started reading up on those, and it was just like jumping down a rabbit hole. So I built my first guitar, and I was really surprised that not only did it look like a guitar, but actually sounded pretty good too. And then I had the bug, and I just kept digging deeper and deeper. So that's kind of brought me to where I am now, where I'm starting to build some custom guitars for some other people, and I've got one of my guitars being played by Micah Nichols and the Rutabaggers. So just trying to get myself out there.
That's awesome, man. What a good way to do it. So how long have you been selling guitars?
I started building them probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I kind of didn't really start thinking seriously about selling them until probably about last year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. I'm curious. So it seems like you've had kind of a journey from classical guitars over to archtop guitars, and then over to flat top acoustic. How did you? I mean, you kind of touched on it, but like making that jump, did you come across any challenges along the way, kind of going from one to the other?
Every step of the way.
Different, right? So
they're all very different instruments, and I haven't really looked and delved too much into building classical guitars, so I can't really speak about that too much. With the archtop guitars, they're so much like violins. They are really a different beast, so it was it's getting nervous with the whole graduating the top and getting things come together properly. And that's why I wanted to step back away from that. And then when I got into the steel string guitars, the flat tops, I started thinking, wow, this is really amazing. Little tiny differences, little nuances make huge deal of difference in the end of the outcome. So
for sure.
all those nuances, like you could spend a lifetime trying to master building, and people have trying to master these flat top guitars that look very plain, compared to their fancy archtop cousins, but are just so nuanced and incredible to kind of dive into.
Yeah. Were you playing acoustic archtops, or were you going down the electric top road?
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, definitely a different sound there. You know what I mean? They're a beast of their own. So
absolutely, yeah. I've always classic or like steel string guitars, acoustic guitars in general, have kind of really been more of a calling to me, because I don't like to fool around with pedals and amps and dials and settings. When I play guitar, I just want to pick it up and play it,
Yeah.
And so you just kind of know when you've got a really nice acoustic guitar in your hands. You just kind of know, this is right. And that's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Out of the guitars you've built, do you have a favorite that you've built, or something that you're particularly proud of?
The one thing I'm really proud of is that it seems like every guitar I'm building is just a little bit better than the last one, which is really cool.
Yeah, what else can you ask
So
for?
each one has its own milestones going along with it. Probably the best sounding one I've got out there right now is the one that Mike is playing. It's just, I love the sound of old mahogany dreads. and that guitar nails it. And it's got this nice little adjustable sliding tone port in the side of it, which is cool. So figuring out those little details in it was quite an accomplishment to me. This one I'm building now for a current customer is it's a beautiful little rosewood dread, and it taps nice, so I can't wait to get strings on it in the next week or so and see what that thing comes out like.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
yeah.
One of the guitars that you built that I looked at, it had that sound port on the top. So how'd that come about in your builds?
Well, it's kind of one of those things it was an experiment. It was you can put this hole in the side of the guitar, which acts like a little kind of monitor for the player, but how does that affect the sound? And so I wanted to make it adjustable so I could see, does a bigger sound port sound better, or does a smaller sound port sound better? And it really kind of turned out to be that having the sound port in general is always a good thing. I think it's nice. It gives the instrument a little bit more of a rounded sound to it. But being able to adjust it and kind of fine-tune it to the room you're playing in or what's going on around you helps a lot too. From what Micah was saying, he was saying that when he's playing an acoustic grip, he shuts it because it's almost too much coming at him. So having that ability to open and shut it is quite good. It also, with the way that the guitar works, you've got kind of these three resonances going on. You've got the back resonating, you've got the top resonating, but you also have the volume of air inside the guitar resonating too. So being able to open and close that door, you can actually fine-tune the resonance of the air inside the guitar, which is kind of nice too.
That's cool.
What a cool, interesting idea.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it's just a really, really cool, interesting idea. You don't see new innovations that often on guitars that you actually want. I haven't seen anything that Taylor's done or like Martin or Fender that have done that has been like new and unique that I'm like, man, I'm really interested in robot tuners or something. It's cool. It's really cool.
It's also.
I wish I could take credit for it. I got the idea from John Monteleone's guitarist. He had an exhibit down at the Met of his archtops. I don't know if you know him, but amazing archtop guitar builder.
Yeah.
And he had these little sliding doors. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I'm seeing him on archtops, but I'm not seeing him on steel strings. So let's try it.
Of course.
That's the nice thing about building your own guitars is you can kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Good for you, man.
Thanks.
So with that, do you try and do anything different? Do you have any like kind of signature thing with your guitars that make them different from anybody else's, or do you really try and tailor to the customer?
It's mainly tailoring it to the customer. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm just trying to build the best guitars that I've got. We all have a very short lifetime, and I'm only going to be able to build so many guitars in the time that I've got. The materials are very scarce, and they're becoming rarer and rarer, so I'm trying to respect those too. So the things that I try to do are small little nuanced things. What does it do to shave this brace here or shape it this way? How do I get more sound on the guitar without it falling apart?
Yeah.
How do you find that line between a really strong resonant-like guitar and something that's going to hold up for 100 years?
Right.
So.
Awesome. Hey man, I got some Craigslist related questions for you. So I'm sure you've done some Craigslist deals.
A little bit, yeah.
All right. So what's your best score on Craigslist?
Best score. Instrument-wise, I came across this guy probably 4 or 5 years ago who was selling a whole lot of instruments. I mean, he had tons and tons of banjos, and old little Ks and harmonies and stuff like that, old mandolins and all sorts of things. So I got to know him, which was cool because everybody I've dealt with on Craigslist has been really good. Like, it has this reputation for being a little bit people a little nervous about it.
Yeah.
But I've never met anybody on Craigslist that wasn't kind of cool.
Yeah, people are people, man.
Exactly. And he had this Ramsey banjo, this open back banjo that I fell in love with. And he gave me a really good deal on it. So that was actually that was one of the things that really stood out to me. The other one's been tools. As a guitar builder who's trying to do it and not spend $1 million buying tools. Like, I got my bandsaw on my Craigslist. I got my drum sander on Craigslist. It's a really good source for tools in that way.
Yeah, StewMac stuff is it's not cheap, man.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. Jesus Christ. But,
and they're cool. They'll stand behind everything, but yeah, you pay a premium for it.
Yeah, but it's shit. I've learned that it's kind of worth it. Like, you can buy some knockoff tool off eBay for cheap money, and then it's like, all right, I'm gonna save 90%, and then you get it, and it's like, all right, I'll buy the StewMac one.
Yeah, and then you buy the StewMac one, and something's wrong with it, and you just call them up for a little thing, like, oh, it's missing a screw. Oh, we'll send you another one.
Yep.
Don't worry, here. And 2 days later, you've got it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're good in that way.
You're paying for something, right?
Exactly.
Steve, you got anything else before we do the speed round?
So I'm curious, kind of just to build off some of the other stuff you said. So so are you also a banjo player?
I like to noodle here and there. I'm a music teacher, so I like playing different instruments. I like bluegrass music. I like old-time music. I like jazz. I like everything. To me, it's all just music. So I go through these phases where like some months I'm playing the banjo and just really enjoying getting into that. And other months I'm picking up the archtop guitar and playing some like early swing stuff. And other days I'm picking up my classical guitar and playing that too. So when I can, now that I'm not really playing for money, I kind of play for myself and play what I'm in the mood for.
Right, right. Pre the world shutting down here to some degree, were you still playing out at any points or?
Not really. We just had a baby about a year. She's almost 2 years old now.
Hey,
so we had a baby.
congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I got a 2-year-old.
Nice.
As do I, so I know how it is.
You know that. But I'm a full-time music teacher in an elementary school too, so that's kind of taken up most of my time. And a lot of times I come home and I'm just kind of exhausted and can't do anything with music. And that's another thing I like about building too. You know, when you're practicing and you take a couple days where you just don't quite pick up the guitar, you kind of feel like you go backwards. But when the guitar is sitting on my bench and I haven't got to it for a couple of days, it's exactly the way I left it. You haven't gone backwards. You're still moving forward. You just pick up and keep going. So,
yeah,
awesome.
Good way to think about it.
Yeah, I think that was for questions and whatnot. I think that was about all I had for now.
That's great, man.
all right.
Good to know.
Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? No, I meant to ask this. I had it on my notes here. If somebody wanted to work with you to build a guitar, what's the best process for doing that, and how should they get in touch with you?
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's a great thing. So I've got Instagram. You guys follow me on there too, Gillander Guitars. I've got Facebook page too of Gillander Guitars, and then I've got my website, which is www.gilanderguitars.com, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I'll put it all up. It'll be right below us. I'll put it all up.
Awesome.
Right
Yeah, and you can email me through the website, or you can email me through any of those things. They all come to my phone. They all come to the same place.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And how many guitars are you generally building per year at this point?
This year's been kind of a weird one because of the whole pandemic. I've actually got 4 going right now. So I'm finishing up one this weekend, and then I've got 3 others that I'll be finishing up over the next couple of months. I try to do like 3 or 4 a year.
Yeah.
That's a good year for me.
Yeah.
Because I want to take the time and I want to spend the time doing it right and making sure every little detail comes out the way it needs to be done. So I'm not in much of a hurry. I'm not trying to do big production runs. I'm just trying to do the best ones I can.
Good.
Yeah.
That's great. Ready for some speed round questions?
All right.
Sure.
All right. So some of these, I know you're mostly an acoustic guy here, but we're going to ask anyway. So Strat or Telly?
Telly.
Telly. All right. Fender or Marshall?
Fender.
All right. Ebony or Rosewood?
That is a tough one. I'm going to go with Ebony.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee, definitely.
All right. Mahogany or Rosewood?
Another tough one, but I'm going to go with Mahogany.
All right. Martin or Gibson?
Martin.
So I think I can assume the answer to this one, but D28 or D18?
D18.
All right. Les Paul or SG?
I'm going to go with Les Paul because it's the classic look, but those things are heavy.
There you go. Slope shoulder or square shoulder?
Square shoulder.
And are you a denim or flannel guy?
Flannel.
All right.
How did I do? Did I win?
Yeah. Hey, there's no winning or losing, man. It's just a fun thing to kind of help understand, help people get see you a little bit better.
Yeah, I like it.
Cool. We're all guitar players, right? So we all got preferences.
That's it.
Sometimes we love to share them, and sometimes they start arguments, and you know how it goes. So
yeah, what a great community guitar people are, though. I think.
Yeah, they can be. They can be. They sure can be. All right, man. I think that's all we got from the best of the week, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks. It's been fun.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man.
Take care.
All right.